Hi there, smart drivers. Talking to you today about passing your driver's test first time, the skills, abilities, and techniques that you need to have in place to be successful on passing your driver's test, taking away the examiner's right to fail you. Nothing less, nothing more. That's what we're going to talk about today. I do apologize to the smart drivers. I know that it says 9 a.m. here All live streams in the morning are at 10 a.m. Again, it's a little bit like driving, right? We need to develop habits to check the things that we need to check when we're driving. Same thing with technology. It's not a hit it and quit it thing. And unfortunately, sometimes mistakes get made, and hopefully we have the habits and skills in place that are going to protect us when we're driving. And same thing with live streams and whatnot, that things get overlooked and made mistakes and those types of things. So I see that it was my mistake that I put up 9 a.m. there, and unfortunately we get started at 10 a.m. For the live stream in the morning. So if you have any questions, let us know in the comments there as well. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what class of license you're going for, how we can help you out here at Smart Drive Test. We help you pass the driver's test first time, become a safer, smarter driver, or start a career as a truck or bus driver. That's what we do here at Smart Drive Test. So let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know how we can help you out. Evan, in Washington State, you can just take the test to get a license. Is that just for people who lost their license and want to reapply for one? By the way, is the morning live stream on Wednesdays now? No, Evan, I had some appointments yesterday, so I couldn't do it. I'm going to try and keep doing it on Tuesday, but this was one off this week. Colton is here, tuning in from Arkansas, where it's a pleasant 21 degrees. Humidity is 99%. Yes, 21 degrees, so 69 is 20. I know that for a fact. Colton. Elevator fan, what part of Indiana will you be in? Elevator fan, I am going to be in, I want to say Indianapolis, the one at the top. I'm not going too far south. So the first city in the north, because I'm coming from Chicago. So I'm just going to bounce down into Indiana, and then I'm going to go back up to Toledo, Ohio. So that's what I'm doing there in Indiana. So yeah, maybe elevator fan, if you're down there, maybe we can meet up and maybe do a driver's license test together. That would be great. Sean, hello from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. And Sean, yes, I'm going to be in Minnesota too, the Twin City, doing a license test there as well. That's one of the other 10 states that I'm going to hit on my way through in late August, late July, early August. So if anybody wants to get together and shoot a video for the YouTube channel, that would be great. Let's see what we can do. Passing your driver's test. There's 4 skills that you need in place to pass your driver's test. Space management. If you're not near anything, it's less likely that you're going to hit something. Speed management, observation, and communication. You need to have a 2 to 3 second following distance in front of your vehicle at all times. You need to stop back in traffic approximately 1 vehicle length, and your landmark for that is the being able to see the tires of the vehicle in front, making clear contact with the pavement. The speed that you have to drive for the purposes of your driver's test is either the posted speed limit or the flow of traffic, whichever is less. Observation, you need to observe correctly. Forward scanning pattern, far down the road, checking your center mirror, far down the road, checking your console, your instrument panel, far down the road, and then check your wing mirrors. That's your forward scanning pattern. Your forward scanning pattern is tied into speed control. If your speed is fluctuating all the time, it tells the examiner that you are not observing correctly because you're not looking at your instrument panel every 10 to 15 seconds. Shoulder checking, shoulder checking, shoulder checking. It is the most common error on a driver's test. So practice your shoulder checking. 90 degrees in the direction that you are moving the vehicle, both forward and in reverse. Signaling every time you change directions of the vehicle. Forward and in reverse, okay? Signal, signal, signal. And I know that people will say to me all kinds of goofy things about when do you change directions of the vehicle. If you have a simpler way of saying it other than every time you change directions of the vehicle, not when the roadway changes direction, I would be more than amenable to that and open to suggestions. So signaling, shoulder checking, observation, reversing for the purposes of your driver's test. You must look out through the back window. You cannot use a backup camera. You cannot use your mirrors as your primary line of sight. You can look at them, you can glance at them, but you have to be looking out through the back window. And I know that many of you are driving pickup trucks, other vehicles that have small windows and those types of things. However, fake it till you make it. Look out through the back window. All right. So that's observation. Communication is the last one. There's 5 ways that traffic communicates. There's 5 ways that you communicate effectively with other traffic and road users. The position of your vehicle on the roadway. So if you're in the left turning lane, there's a high probability you're going to turn left. If you're hugging right or nosed into the right at the intersection, you're going to turn right. Lights and signals, hand gestures, eye contact, and the last way that we communicate effectively is using the horn. Use the horn sparingly, as it's seen as a sign of aggression on the roadway here in North America. Elevator fan, the day I'm going to be in Indiana, I don't know yet. I haven't completely planned the trip out. I have it kind of in my head. But what I'll do, elevator fan, now that you've asked me that, is I will plan the trip. I'm leaving myself a note right here. Plan the trip. And I will let you know the exact date that I am planning to be in Indiana, okay? Because I have to do that anyway, because I need to set all these things up. Rawson, my friend, how are you? Tuning in from Ohio. Elevator fan, I-65 is the main interstate that connects Indianapolis, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois. Okay, so I'm probably going to be on Interstate 65 coming down into Indiana there from Illinois. From Chicago is what I was trying to think, because I'm going to go through Minnesota. I'm going to go into Wisconsin. I'm going to go to Milwaukee. I'm going to do a test there in Wisconsin. I'm going to do one in Chicago, and then I'm going to head down into Indiana, across to Toledo, up to Detroit, and do one there, and then I'm going to head home from there to my mom's place. So I will plan this out, and probably what I'm going to do, if smart drivers here on the channel can help me out, I will leave a detailed plan. I'll put all this up on the community tab. I'll also put a page over on the Smart Drive Test website, which will plan all of this out for the shooting schedule, when I'm going to be at certain places at certain times. So if people want to get together and shoot a video with me, that would be really awesome. And I'll just have a page. You can sign up. We can get together. I will tell you what day and what time, and as well for people helping me out, if you could help me out with where the DMVs are, because I want to start and finish at a DMV, and I will do research as well on Google Maps and figure out what routes I'm going to do and those types of things in and around the DMV to help people out to pass their driver's test in those 10 states that I'm going to visit. Late July, early August, I will be there to do that. Rawson, when it's cloudy, I turn on my daytime running lights on manual because I want other drivers to see me. And yes, that is a good idea for sure. And again, most states will have a law that requires you, if your windshield wipers are on, turn on your headlights as well, so that you activate the taillights and other drivers behind you can see you. So passing a driver's test first time, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to get over to the presentation here. We'll get through that. We spend 10 or 12 minutes on the presentation. We'll come back. This one's a little bit longer because it's more involved, but we'll come back after that, and then we'll spend the remainder of the hour answering any questions you have about becoming a safer, smarter driver, passing your driver's test, or starting a career as a truck or bus driver. So today we're talking about passing your driver's test first time, getting your license, getting that freedom to be able to drive by yourself in the car. And it is a big responsibility, and there's lots of pieces that are going together, because new drivers who just got their license in the first year of driving are at the highest risk of being involved in a crash. So for those of you new to Smart Drive Test, my name is Rick August. I was a truck driver during the 1990s, hauled freight between Ontario, Canada, and the United States. Became a licensed commercial driving instructor in 1997. Most of my teaching has been with truck drivers, bus drivers, logbooks, air brakes, those types of things. I do have an expertise in air brakes. However, taught some new drivers, do have some experience working with drivers with disabilities who were returning to driving. Did have an interesting experience a couple of years ago going back and teaching brand new drivers and having to teach them the difference between two-way and four-way stop signs. That was definitely interesting for sure. And 2006, graduated from the University of Melbourne, Australia, with my doctorate in legal history, which is a study of policing, courts, and prisons. For those of you who may or may not know, my expertise is in policing as it relates to traffic. was driving buses for Greyhound while I was going to university there, one of the regional bus lines as well. And I started the online YouTube channel in 2015, I guess. And it's been wildly more successful than I could have ever imagined. So you can check out the autobiography over at the Smart Drive Test website. All right, good videos to have a look at here. 10 chance driving test fails. Okay, things that could potentially go wrong on your driver's test that you have not encountered before. Turning right on a red light, for example. Yellow lights, having to go around a garbage truck or another large vehicle that is blocking your way. So have a look at that video as well. Automatic fails. There's two ways that you can fail a driver's test. One is demerits. You're assigned points for every mistake that you make. Minor errors are approximately 5 points, and major errors are 10 points or more. They can be 15 or 20 depending on the severity of the error. All right, most tests allow you 35 points. If you gain 35 points, you will be unsuccessful on your driver's test. All right, so automatic fails include things like not stopping for an emergency vehicle, proceeding through an intersection that you cannot clear on the other side, and left-hand turns. This does not include left-hand turns when you're turning. So have a look at these videos, get yourself the correct information to be successful on passing your driver's test first time. First thing you need to do to get your driver's license is pass a knowledge test. It is approximately 50 questions, of which you have to get 40 right. It will include topics such as sign signals, road markings, terminology, right-of-way, and what is the driving task and what is your attitude when driving. All right, so be prepared for that with the handbook. The other thing is, do not read the handbook cover to cover. It is boring. All right. What I suggest to you is to go online, do practice driving test questions when you're getting 80 to 90% consistently, then go to the DMV and write the test. You will do just fine there. Okay. So sign signals and road markings, terminology, right of way, do the practice driving test, get 80, 90% consistently, then you're ready to go and take the test. As I said in the introduction, there are 4 components to any driver's test. The problem you are facing when driving is social driving. And I've had some comments from smart drivers that think that it should be anti-social driving because it's people who are not getting along with other people. That is not the case at all. It is social driving in the way that most people participate in social driving: following too close, speeding, failing to give the right of way, not coming to complete stops at stop signs, intersections. Almost everybody does that. And if you want to pass the driver's test, you cannot participate in social driving the way that other people drive on the roadways. You need to implement these 4 tools to keep yourself safe when you're driving, after you get your license, and to pass your driver's test: space management, speed management, observation, and communication. And space management is the most important. If you're not near anything, it's less likely that you're going to hit something. All right. For the purposes of your driver's test, I know that you're anxious. I know that you're got some trepidation about it, but focus on what you're doing when you're taking your driver's test. Do not get distracted by the examiner. Do not get distracted by other people or little mistakes that you make. And if you do make a little mistake, keep going. All right. The problem with driving tests and getting ready for driving tests, most people I find, is that they go out on the roadway and they drive around on the road and they go up and down the roadway and they do a little bit of backing up before they get to the slow speed maneuvers, and they leave the parallel parking to 2 days before they have to take the driver's test, and they cram it in, and they cram in the 3-point turns and other things that are required for the purposes of the driver's test. This is completely backwards. Completely, utterly backwards. Okay? Focus on the slow speed maneuvers first. Focus on the parallel parking. Focus on the 3-point turn, the Ohio maneuverability test, the 2-point reverse turn that you're required to do in Maryland, backing up along a curb. This will make you a safer, smarter driver faster. You will learn to drive faster. You will know where your vehicle is in space and place. And you will have mastery of the primary controls: the accelerator, the brake, and the steering wheel. For those of you driving manual cars, it will also be the clutch. So start with these slow speed maneuvers first and then go out on the roadway. You will be a better driver. Requirements of the driver's test. All right. Holding the vehicle in the lane, observing and shoulder checking, signaling correctly, responding to changing driving conditions. That is your job for the purposes of the driver's test. If you encounter a situation that you don't know what to do, stop your vehicle. Simply stop, wait for the traffic situation to change, okay? If there is a pedestrian that is walking out on the roadway and they're jaywalking, just stop. Let them cross the road. When they get across the road, then continue to proceed. If you have some fear of people rear-ending you from behind, turn on your four-way flashers. Turn on your indicators, also called hazard lights, to indicate to traffic behind you that you're doing something unpredictable, okay? Unexpected events, as I said in the introduction with the videos there, 10 chance events that potentially could happen on your driver's test. Emergency vehicles and other unexpected events, turning right on a red light, for example, and we'll talk more about that. Abilities for a driver's test. 2 hands on the steering wheel for the duration of the test. Stopping in a line of traffic 1 vehicle length back. Your landmark for that is to be able to see the tires of the vehicle in front, making clear contact with the pavement. Yellow traffic lights. Your vehicle cannot stop within its own length, so approximately 16 feet. If you're closer than 16 feet to the intersection, then you proceed through. If not, you come to a complete stop, because for the purposes of a driver's test, red and yellow lights mean the same thing. And I know that many drivers come back to me, smart drivers, and say, well, if I lock up the brakes and I get it stopped at the intersection, somebody's going to rear end me. Well, if somebody rear ends you, you made a mistake, a block back, because you were not observing correctly as you were approaching the intersection and seeing how close people were to you from behind. So you need to keep that observation skills in place while you're driving and figure out who's behind you. Know the difference between controlled and uncontrolled intersections. There are very few uncontrolled intersections anymore. They've gone the way of the dodo bird, okay? The only uncontrolled intersections that you are going to find in and around the test center where you're driving is turning from a major road onto a minor road. There won't be any light signals or road markings there. So know that. Right of way, especially the difference between 2-way stop signs and 4-way stop signs. And that whole bunk about first person to arrive, yes, that's true. Also, person on the right, nobody figures that out. Nobody does that at a 4-way stop sign. And 4 cars arriving at a stop sign, you have more chance of winning the lottery than 4 cars arriving at a 4-way stop sign at the same time. So don't waste your time on that. If you want to figure it out, go down to a 4-way stop sign intersection, watch the traffic move through, figure out the pattern, and then carry on with your life. After a couple, 3 weeks of driving and practicing, go back and revisit the fundamentals. Revisit your parallel parking, your reverse backing into a parking space, your 3-point turns, your 2-point reverse turns. There are only 3 states that I know of. No smart driver or official has corrected me on this. California, Ohio, and Maryland are the only states that do not require you to do parallel parking. For the purposes of a driver's test, the 3 maneuvers that you have to do: parallel parking, backing into a parking space, and 3-point turn. Parallel parking, 3-point turn, backing into a parking space. Okay, California sometimes, I'm leaving a blank on the state on the below, between California and Washington, that state sometimes requires you to back up 50 feet along a curb. Ohio has the Ohio maneuverability test, and Maryland requires you to do a 2-point reverse turn. So revisit the fundamentals before going down for your driver's test. Now, I do recommend that you take driving lessons. Driving instructors teach students how to pass a driver's test every day. So take lessons with a driving instructor. You can take whole classes, 10 sets of classes. You can take individual lessons, or you can do a mock road test. Don't call up the driving school and say, hey, can I book a mock road test lesson? They won't know what you're talking about. Just call them up and say, listen, I would like to go out with a driving instructor to do an assessment on my abilities to pass the driver's test. The great thing about doing this is the driving instructor will take you on the test route. They won't tell you that they're doing that according to the professional code of conduct for driving instructors, but they will do that, and they'll also take you to the same place. The driving examiner will take you to do slow speed maneuvers. They know where the examiners do the slow speed maneuvers, where they do the parallel parking and those types of things. So it is invaluable, and it is a great investment of time and money to be sure that you do pass your driver's test. In the year leading up to your road test, or the 6 months, or however long you are required to have your learner's permit, get as much practice as possible. Drive in as many different vehicles as you can. Drive with as many different people as you can. Your uncle, the neighbor, your mom, your dad, your sister, your siblings, if you can. Because all that practice, all that training is going to help you to deal with the anxiety of the examiner getting in the car and writing stuff on a clipboard or entering stuff into a tablet. Ariel in this image here, and there's a playlist here on the channel with Ariel that I helped her to learn how to drive. Ariel just needed the information and the skills and techniques to be able to pass her driver's test by the time that she came to me, owing to the fact that she had been driving on back logging roads with her dad and practicing driving. So she already knew how to handle the vehicle and could drive well. She just needed a few pointers on, where to stop at stop sign intersections, when to signal, when to shoulder check, those types of things. And she was successful and passed her driver's test first time. So get as much practice as you can in your learner's phase of your license. As well, in the 6 to 8 weeks leading up to your driver's test, then stay in the same vehicle, stay with the same mentor, same person that you're working with to pass your driver's test. All right, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sometimes good drivers who should pass their driver's test don't pass, and sometimes bad drivers who shouldn't pass their driver's test do in fact pass their driver's test. Know that it's not always going to go the way that you want it to. So don't let somebody else's opinion of you become your reality when you go for your driver's test if you are unsuccessful. Just take a day, eat Doritos, drink soda, sit in the couch, whine about the world, say something bad about somebody's mother, watch reruns of Breaking Bad, but get on with your life, get back in the saddle, book your next driver's test as soon as you can, and go back and get your driver's license. It's not a reflection of who you are, and nobody's ever going to ask you years later, did you pass your driver's test first time? Because it's not a big deal, okay? Just get your driver's license. Okay, pass your driver's test. As I said, book a book a practice session with a driving instructor 3 weeks out. Right now, we're in the summertime. Everybody's out of school. It's really busy right now, okay? 7 to 10 days before your test, because you don't want to fail your driver's test, because you have to rebuild your confidence. It's really tough, okay, to rebuild that confidence. And also it costs money. So if you don't do it right the first time, when are you going to find time to do it again? So do as much as you can to be successful first time. And as my friend Edna says, one of my favorite animated characters, luck favors the prepared. All right, learn the basics and master the basics. Mastery of the primary controls of the vehicle, the accelerator, the brake, and the steering wheel. Know those primary controls of the vehicle, as well as secondary controls of the vehicle to be successful on your driver's test. Know how to turn on the high-low beam headlights. Know how to turn on the defrost or air conditioning, and know how to turn on the windshield wipers, because it might rain on the day of your driver's test. And make sure that your windshield washer fluid works and squirts. All right, so all that for the purposes of being successful on your driver's test. On test day, get a good night's sleep the night before. Bring documentation, your driver's license, and another piece of identification. Glasses, if you wear prescription glasses, make sure that you bring money, because it's not free to take the test. And as well, there's a fee for administering your driver's license, okay? Back into the parking stall if there is a parking lot where you can park, and there will be reserved parking for people who are taking their test. Go in, check in, come back out, go for a short walk if you got a little bit of time. Know that the driving examiner is going to do a mini pre-trip inspection on your vehicle. So make sure if you're taking your own personal vehicle that you do a pre-trip inspection the night before. Make sure everything is working. Make sure that you have the license plates front and back if that's required for your state or province. Make sure that the brake lights are working. Make sure the signals are working, headlights, high beams, low beams. Clean the vehicle out. Don't have any, old fast food wrappers and those types of things in the footwell. Take it down to your local car wash, give it a vacuum. Make sure the seatbelt's working on the passenger side. You have drivers Registration and insurance. Make sure your registration and insurance is up to date. I know people who their registration is expired or lapsed and they've been denied their driver's test. They have a brake light out. Same thing. If you're going with a driving school, make sure that the instructor did a pre-trip inspection on the vehicle. Ask him or her if he or she did a pre-trip inspection on the vehicle before you show up for your driver's test, because you don't want to be denied. All right, your job for the purposes of the driver's test is to take away the driving examiner's right to fail you. Nothing less, nothing more. Your job. Demonstrate to the examiner that you have due care and control of the vehicle in changing traffic conditions. If you make a mistake on your driver's test, don't perseverate on it, okay? Do not get stuck in it. Just take a breath, made a little mistake, and move on. The examiner may not even have seen the mistake that you thought you made. So carry on with your driving test and focus on what you're doing and pass first time. Good luck on your driver's test, and remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Rawson, I did a mock test before my road test and I passed my road test with a perfect score. Awesome. And that's exactly what I am telling people, and that is the best advice that you can have, is to take a practice driving test with a driving instructor before you show up for your driver's test, because they will give you feedback on skills and abilities that you need to improve, and they will take you on the test route, and they will show you where the slow speed maneuvers are going to be done when you're going to be taking your driver's test. All of that is going to help you out. P&V friends, goodbye, my friend. I saw you there earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't say hi, but hello, my friend, and bye. Have a great day. All the best. So yes, investment of time and energy and a little bit of money. Yes, take a practice driving test with a local driving school, and that will really, really boost your confidence for the purposes of the driver's test. As well, as I said, the instructor will give you feedback on the skills and abilities. They'll say to you, listen, you're not shoulder checking. You need to go away and you need to work on shoulder checking. They will show you what shoulder checking is. And because there are a number of smart drivers who've come back to me over the years and said, I wasn't successful on my driver's test because I didn't even know about shoulder checking. All right. You cannot participate in social driving. You cannot follow at the distance that everybody else on the roadway is following. You cannot not signal, shoulder check. You need to have these skills in place to be successful on passing your driver's test, okay? So take a mock road test with a local driving instructor, and that will really help you out. Colton, cross traffic does not stop. I've seen these signs a few times here in Arkansas, but not often. And yes, Colton, these are found at high-risk intersections where people have blown through on the two-way stop sign. So this is the other piece for brand new drivers that's really tough. Two-way stop signs and four-way stop signs, okay? They are challenging. So, and I have worked with students where they come up to stop at this two-way stop sign, they stop, and then they proceed through the intersection. You can't do that. Okay? Stop at the correct stopping position. Move forward to the edge of the intersection, check that cross traffic is stopped, or there is a gap in the cross traffic rather. When the way is clear, then you proceed. And you can do that with a driving instructor. He or she will really help you out with that. How do I help my brother prepare for the road test? Okay, so 4 components, and have a look down in the description here below the video. I put up the must-see 4 videos. Have a look at those. You can just drive around with your brother. N, is your brother taking any driving lessons with an instructor? Just let me know that in the comments there. All right, Elevator Fan, I'm excited to meet you. If you could let me know sooner than later so that I can request the day off work. Okay, Elevator Fan, I will definitely do that, and I will have a plan for you in place before the end of the week. I've got that written down here on my notes, and we'll get that done. Mitchell, I got my license back in 2020. You were a top reason for me to get my license, plus it was... I can't see the rest of it. Okay, but awesome. I'm so glad that we could help you out to pass your driver's test. How has the driving been going in the last 4 years, my friend? Colton, pre-trip inspection of cars should be done once a month minimum. Yes, it should. Colton, check your tires, tire pressure. If you don't have tire monitoring systems on your vehicle, then definitely be testing all of that. And he is not. Okay, well... So watch the videos here. Check out those 4 videos down here in the thing here, in the description rather. That's what I was trying to say. Have a look at those. Stopping at the correct stopping position at controlled intersections before the stop line, before the sidewalk or crosswalk. If those 2 conditions don't exist, then at the edge of the intersection just before entering the intersection is where you want to stop your vehicle. So stop line just rolls under the front of the car. As soon as it disappears, that's when you bring the vehicle to a stop. You'll be approximately 3 feet behind the stop line, okay? Teaching the difference between 2-way stop signs and 4-way stop signs. That's a component for the driver's test, making sure that he maintains this posted speed limit. 2 to 3 second following distance, stopping back in traffic 1 vehicle length. So and your landmark for that is being able to see the tires of the vehicle in front. Okay, signaling, shoulder checking, and then as well, and the other piece with your brother, parallel parking, 3-point turns, backing into a parking spot. And if you can focus on those slow speed maneuvers first before going out on the roadway, that will help increase and improve his driving faster than just driving around on the roadways and those types of things. All right. Ocean, I'm 32, and even though I've been practicing on my own, I signed up for driving lessons and have my first lesson tomorrow. I've been trying to turn my anxiety into excitement. Any tips on anxiety? Yes, anxiety, exactly what you said about turning it into excitement. Anxiety and fear is just excitement without breath. So breathe, okay? Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's how you work over your anxiety, okay? I can do this. The 4 most powerful words in the English language. I can do this. And I had one of those moments this morning talking to a customer, not a customer, a client of mine who I've been working with. It's a cab company and doing defensive driving training. And, you know, we've done everything. We've worked through the program. We've been doing it for the last 3 months. And I had to call them up this morning and say, oh, hey, here's the final bill, by the way. And, you know, I have a hard time with that. It's so, you know, I got to get on the phone. I got to talk to them. So you just breathe and just do it, right? It's the same thing with driving. If you have anxiety and fear around driving, it's the same. I can do this. The 4 most powerful words in the English language. I can do this. So know that. All right. Can you legally turn right on red lights? I know everybody does it. And yes, you can, but you have to come to a complete stop at the correct stopping position behind the stop line. Give way to all pedestrians first. And when the way is clear, then you can move forward to the edge of the intersection. Give way, stop again. Check the cross traffic, check that there aren't any advanced left turning vehicles in the intersection, and then proceed, so long as you don't have signs preventing a right on a red light. All right. Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, you cannot turn right on a red light. The island of Montreal, you cannot turn right on a red light. In Europe, all over Europe, Spain, France, all the countries there, you cannot turn right on a red light. However, here in North America, every other place, and so long as there aren't signs that prevent it, you can turn right on a red light, except those places that I mentioned. So that is one of the chance events that could potentially happen on your driver's test. So have a look at that video as well. And down in the description is turning right on a red light, how to do that successfully for the purposes of passing your driver's test. Zed, thanks for sharing your helpful information and knowledge. This always leads me to success, and that is awesome. So happy that we could help out, Zed. Really great. Elevator fan is using the horn excessively in automatic fail on a driver's test. Elevator fan, yes. If you're using the horn excessively, we really want to be wondering what's going on. Most of the time, you're only going to be using the horn to warn somebody else. So say, for example, you're driving down a residential area, no traffic around, and there's a pedestrian sauntering around on the roadway there. As you're approaching approximately half a block away, you would just give a little beep on the horn to warn the person that you are behind them and that they might get off the roadway and whatnot. Rawson, when I watched the video with Charlie, he was relaxed when driving because he has experience. Yes, Rawson, he did have a lot of experience as well. I don't know for sure. I would need to ask Charlie again. I think he had taken his driver's test once before and he hadn't been successful on it. But I ran into Charlie just here a couple days ago, and he looked really great, and he's huge into wrestling, and he's been doing the wrestling and whatnot. And I just told him to stay safe because I didn't want to be reading about him in an autobiography. I don't know whether you know that. Owen Hart died. He was Bret Hart's brother in his autobiography. I don't know how I got reading his autobiography, but I did at one point. And unfortunately, his brother had died in a terrible accident in the wrestling arena. So I just told Charlie to be safe because he told me some stuff, and I was like, that doesn't sound like fun. Excellent. Ocean, thank you. When correcting the steering wheel after turning, what is allowed to bring the wheel back, opening hands, hand over hand. I'm in Colorado. Okay, so Ocean, when you turn the corner, keep your palms in contact with the steering wheel, open your fingers, let it slide back, and then correct a little bit at the end of the turn. But yes, you can open your fingers and let the steering wheel slide back through, but make sure that your palms stay in contact with the steering wheel when you let that back. And that's a great question there. One of the things that new drivers are asking me when they take their driver's test. But yes, you can open your fingers there. So 4 components of passing a driver's test: space management, speed management, observation, communication. Space management: if you're not near anything, it's less likely that you're going to hit something. 2 to 3 second following distance, stopping in traffic, 1 vehicle length back from the vehicle in front of you, and 1 meter 3 feet from pedestrians. Okay, do not crowd pedestrians. Oh my God, that will cause you to fail a driver's test as well. Okay, crowding pedestrians. And you know, if you're in a suburb, you're in a residential area, there's very little traffic around, and you have a pedestrian on the side of the road, move over into the other lane. Okay, give them lots of space, more than what you need. Okay, because there's nothing I hate worse as a pedestrian is being crowded by pedestrians. And the same thing when you're making left-hand turns, space management. I know that there are 2 schools of thinking of this. One is that you move into the intersection for the purposes of a left turn. I do not teach that, okay, because it is not safe. When you are making a left-hand turn, you have to keep obstacles and hazards in front of you, and you're mapping and tracking 4 things when you're turning left at a complex intersection: traffic light, oncoming traffic, pedestrians on the cross street, and if there's a slip lane over there, you're watching traffic in the slip lane as well when you're turning left. So know that for the purposes of your driver's test. Wait at the edge of the intersection. That way hazards and obstructions are in front of you, and you can see those pedestrians over on the cross street. If you're in the intersection now, they're in your flank, they're in your blind area, and that is harder for you to deal with than if you're back and they're in front of you. So space management. Tails, is this for CDL or normal? This is for tails. This is for both, because 80-90% of what you're doing for the CDL license is all subject to cars. Okay, so all these basic maneuvers and skills and abilities are the same thing for tractor trailer, for coach, bus, those types of things. And this was the challenging piece when I was teaching tractor trailers and teaching CDL drivers, was that I used to say to them, 80% of the stuff that I'm going to teach you is all car. And when you go and take your CDL learner's permit, you have to know all the car stuff. You have to know 2-way stop signs, 4-way stop signs. You have to know traffic lights, right of way, space management, speed management, attitude, all those types of things. So 80% of the information that you are taught when doing a bus license or doing a tractor trailer license or a truck license is all the stuff from the car. Okay, traffic signs, all the same. So know that 20% is only the stuff that is new to you. But for many drivers that already have a license, you know, we just took our license once, so it's a lot of retraining and refreshing of information from driving your car. And if you have specific questions, Tails, let me know, and I'll definitely help you out with that the best I can. So you're taking your CDL test on Friday. Tails, are you doing tractor trailer? Where are you doing it in the world, my friend? Excellent. Rawson, I know that you don't have to manipulate the steering wheel back to straight. No, you don't. Just open your fingers, keep the steering wheel in contact with the palms, and you can let it spin back. Okay, Tails, pre-trip inspection. There is definitely... here on the channel, we have a complete pre-trip inspection for tractor trailer, I can send that for you. I'll put that down in the description. Or Tails, just leave a comment down in the comment section after the videos, or send me an email, rick@smartdrivetest.com, and I can send you those videos for those specific topics, and that'll help you out. There's also a driver's test portion of that as well that I can show you. Okay, so 4 components. We talked about space management, 2 to 3 second following distance, stopping at traffic 1 vehicle length back, 3 feet minimum between your vehicle and pedestrians, speed management, flow of traffic, or the posted speed limit, whichever is less for the purposes of your driver's test. And don't dawdle. Okay, when you make a turn, get your vehicle up to speed as quickly as possible, up to the posted speed limit. Most places in the United States are going to be 30 miles an hour when in cities, unless signs indicate otherwise. New York City, I know that those same boroughs that have no right on red light, Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, they are also 25 miles an hour in the city. And there's a lot of other metropolitan areas that have 25 mile an hour speed limits as well, which is a bit challenging for those of us who come from the 30 mile an hour to get our speed down. It just feels so much slower when you're doing 25 as opposed to 30 miles an hour. Tails, no, I'm doing Class B. It's a synchronized 6-speed manual transmission. Okay, so you don't have that challenge of trying to figure out how to shift a crash box, how to shift a non-synchromesh transmission. Yeah, so Class B is just straight truck school bus. Am I correct on that, Tombstone? Random Fox, in Florida, what are some driving rules that other states don't have? I'm aware it's different in other states. Random Fox, it's really not that different. It's the same in Florida as it is everywhere else, my friend. So there isn't anything that's a great deal of difference, okay? Same 4 components for your driver's test there in the state of Florida. Space management, okay? 2 to 3 second following distance, stopping in traffic 1 vehicle length back, correct stopping position at controlled intersections, behind the stop line, behind the crosswalk or sidewalk. If those 2 conditions don't exist, at the edge of the intersection before moving in, proceeding through the intersection at 2-way and 4-way stop sign intersections. Okay, speed management, posted speed limit or the flow of traffic, whichever is less. Observation, forward scanning pattern, far down the road, check your center mirror, far down the road. Instrument panel, far down the road, check your wing mirrors. Repeat that every 15 to 20 seconds, okay? And your observation is tied into your speed control. If your speed control is fluctuating all the time, it tells the examiner that you are not observing correctly. Speed management, observation, shoulder check, shoulder check, shoulder check, signaling every time you change directions of the vehicle, shoulder checking every time you turn left, change the direction right, shoulder check, signal, 90 degrees, okay? 2 times when you're making turns, approximately half a block before the intersection, 6 to 8 flashes on the signal. Immediately before making your turn, shoulder check again, all right? Reversing, you can use a backup camera, you can use your mirrors, but you can't use it as your main line of sight. You have to look out through the back window. You can look at it, you can check it, but don't use it as your main line of sight, like social drivers who are using a backup camera and they're not looking around or observing or having any awareness around their vehicle when they're reversing. Communication, 5 ways that we communicate with traffic: the position of the vehicle or the road user. If the vehicle is in the left-hand lane, if you're in the left-hand lane, there's a high probability that you're going to turn left. If a road user is near the crosswalk, there's a high probability that he or she is going to cross the roadway. Lights and signals, eye contact, hand gestures, tell people, use all 5 fingers, don't tell somebody that they're number 1, especially on a driver's test. And then finally, using the horn, but using the horn sparingly, because in North America it's seen as a sign of aggression. So those are the 4 skills that you need for the purposes of passing your driver's test: space management, speed management, observation, communication. Tails, I'm just nervous about the road test. Tails, you're going to do just fine. Just breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth. You're going to do just fine, okay? Ocean, is there any leeway with going a little under or over the speed limit? Ocean, yes, there is. It doesn't have to be spot on every time. As I said, with speed control, it's tied into your observation. So every 15 to 20 seconds, you're looking forward, you're checking your instrument panel. And if you're adjusting your speed, then you're going to be just fine. You're not going to fail for that. Okay, now if you're driving consistently 5 miles an hour over the posted speed limit for the entire duration of the test, no, you're probably not going to be successful, but there is some leeway in how much you can go over or under. Elevator says it's pouring rain in Indiana, and yes, it does that every now and again. If you're in the left lane on an interstate, there is a high probability that you are not going to pass. Yes, you don't want to drive in the left lane. You are going to be the slowest driver on the roadway if you were following the posted speed limit. Therefore, you want to drive in the right lane for the duration of your test. If the driving examiner says to you, okay, in 2 blocks, we're going to turn left, then stay in the left-hand lane. But other than that, after you make a left-hand turn, yes, you have to move back over to the right-hand lane. The examiner is not going to tell you to move back to the right lane. You need to do that automatically after you turn left, okay? So turning at complex intersections, multi-lane intersections, left lane to left lane, right lane to right lane, for the purposes of being successful on your driver's test. Ocean, can you elaborate on shoulder checking when turning left? Yeah, Ocean, it's the same thing as turning right. So you're coming up, you're making your left-hand turn, you're 100 feet from the intersection, quick shoulder check left, okay? Same thing as immediately before turning left, turning the steering wheel, shoulder check left before you go to check to make sure that there aren't any vulnerable road users, cyclists, pedestrians, motorcycle riders, those types of things in your blind area before turning left. The reason that you want to shoulder check left, shoulder check right is you want to develop that habit. Same thing as putting on the parking brake, okay? Just put the parking brake on every time you park the vehicle. That way you don't have to think about it. Because I know that there are people who are like, well, I only put the parking brake on if I'm on a hill. I know from experience of teaching truck drivers that most people don't know whether they're on a hill or not. So just do it every time. That way you know when you come back that your vehicle is still in the same place that you left it. Okay? It didn't break loose, careen down a hill, narrowly miss a bunch of nuns crossing the road, and a mother with her baby crash into a tree and explode into a fiery inferno and destroy a heritage tree. Okay? So just put the parking brake on every time you park the vehicle. Just get in the habit. It's the same thing with shoulder checking. Every time you turn or change directions of the vehicle, just quick shoulder check. Shoulder check, shoulder check, shoulder check. That's what you need to do to be successful on your driver's test. Anime, for the driving test, how often do they make you get on the highway when taking the test? Anime, it depends on the location of the test center where you're taking your test. If it's within close proximity, like within 5 minutes of the driving, or if it's within 5 minutes of the test center, then they may get you to get on the highway. But for the most part, they are not going to get you to get on the highway. They're going to get you to drive around the city, and they're going to get you to do the slow speed maneuvers, because that is a better demonstration of your skill than getting out on the highway, because it's easy to get out on the highway. All right? Relatively easy. All right? So they're not going to do that, because remember, driving tests, for the most part, on average, it can vary, are going to be 10 to 15 minutes at most. And the bigger metropolitan cities, New York City, Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles, California, they're going to be even shorter. They're going to be 5 to 8 minutes. So you're going out 3 to 4 minutes and you're coming back 3 to 4 minutes. So it's not likely they're going to get you on a highway. The other piece about highways is you get out there, you get on, you get down to the next exit, and you come back. That could be 10 or 15 minutes. So it's 10 or 15 minutes out and 10 or 15 minutes back. So keep in mind that they got a lot of tests that they need to get through for the they have a lot of tests that they need to get through for the day. So it's not likely that they're going to take you out on a highway or a freeway or an interstate or those types of things. Ross, and I do use the parking brake every single time I park my vehicle, and that is a smart habit to get into, my friend. Random, my last question is understanding how to drive in certain weather conditions. Rain mostly, since it rains so much here. Random Fox, if you are having a lot of rain where you live, if you live in Seattle, Washington, or you live on Vancouver Island here in Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia, I would suggest that you put specific tires on your vehicle for rain. I lived on Vancouver Island, and it was incredible how much rain there was there. And I would have put specific tires on my vehicle for rain, because your tires, when it rains, have to pump out 1 gallon of water per second from underneath the tire to maintain contact with the road surface and not hydroplane. So there are specific tires that will do that, that are designed specifically for rain. And when I was living on Vancouver Island, I could not believe how much rain there was in the wintertime. And you would get it pooling on the roadways where you would hit it and your vehicle would just like hydroplane. So if you're getting a lot of rain, that's what I would do. So tires specifically for rain. Windshield wipers, make sure that you have high quality windshield wipers on your vehicle as well. If you're getting a lot of rain and driving in the rain, I would also suggest that Rain-X, put the windshield washer Rain-X solution in your vehicle. I think that now you can get the Rain-X treatment for the windscreen on your vehicle. You only have to do it once every 6 months, and it will cause the water to bead off the windscreen so that you have better visibility. I know I'm speaking British there when I'm saying windscreen. I'm talking about the windshield, the glass in front of you on your vehicle. So that's another suggestion as well. If it's raining heavily, do not use cruise control. If it's raining moderately, you're okay to use cruise control. As well, I will put the video on driving in the rain. I'm just leaving myself a note here. Driving in the rain video down in the description after I get done the video here as well. So drive with your headlights on in the rain. That's the other piece about it. So those are some tips and skills. And like I said, if you get a lot of rain, heavy rain, it's pouring, make sure that you're not using cruise control. You're running on the accelerator with your foot on the accelerator. If it does start to hydroplane, you'll know that it's hydroplaning because the tires lose contact with the pavement. The motor will rev up. It'll be all of a sudden you'll be driving along and it'll go, and because the tires are spinning and you've lost contact with the road surface because you're riding on top of the water. As soon as that happens, just get your foot out of the accelerator, focus on where you want the vehicle to go. And in my experience of hydroplaning, aquaplaning, it only lasts for a second or two, because as soon as you take your foot off the throttle and your speed slows down, the car will sit back down and it will regain traction. So you can just carry on again, okay? So, but just keep your foot on the accelerator. As soon as you hear the motor speed up, as soon as you feel that, oh my God, I don't have traction anymore, just let your foot off the accelerator and then push down on the accelerator again, and away you'll go. You are most welcome, Randa Fox. Thank you. We can help you out. Ross, and I did handle heavy traffic really well today, and that is really great to hear, Rawson. Awesome, awesome. All right, excellent. So, driver's test. 4 components. Your job for the purposes of a driver's test is to take away the driving examiner's right to fail you. Nothing less, nothing more, okay? You need to do that by demonstrating to the examiner that you have due care and control of the vehicle in changing traffic conditions. And they are going to change, all right? As I said, unexpected events. So definitely look at the must-see videos down in the description there. And those unexpected events, stopping for a yellow light, turning right on a red light, large vehicles in your path of travel that you have to move out and around over double solid lines. Know how to do all of that, because these things are only going to show up once every 10 driving sessions, for example. I could go out for 8 driving sessions with a student and never turn right on a red light. So you need practice to be able to hit these unexpected events when you're driving. A pedestrian, for example, you're in a residential area and you come down and you have to move out into the other lane to give lots of space between your vehicle and the pedestrian, okay? Because crowding a pedestrian on a driver's test is an automatic fail. Colton, my friend, yes, see you on Tuesday, my friend. All the best. Elevator fan, I've seen drivers stopped on the side of the road with no hazard lights. Elevator fan, yes, they will do that. And speaking of distracted driving, talking on your cell phone, if you are answering a phone call and you do move over to the side of the road to speak on your cell phone, yes, turn on your hazard lights. Activate your 4-way flashers to indicate to other traffic that you are in fact stopped on the side of the road. Now, same thing the other day. I was driving along the side of the road and I saw this dog in the ditch. I was going to stop, but there wasn't any place to stop safely. And you need to weigh the options. Is it worth the risk of you potentially getting hit by another vehicle to save the dog, or what do you do? I don't know. So do activate your four-way flashers if you are doing something unpredictable on the roadway to keep yourself safe. Okay. Excellent. Okay, I've answered most of the questions. Oh yes, speaking of parking brake for the purposes of your driver's test, yes, every time you park the vehicle, you need to apply the parking brake and say to the examiner, okay, I'm finished. If you're hill parking, uphill, downhill, with a curb, without a curb, the only time that it's not turning the wheels towards the shoulder of the road is uphill with a curb. Think of it this way. Up, up, and away, like Superman. Up, up, and away. Uphill with a curb. That's the only time that you turn your wheels towards the center of the road. 3 and 1. Every other time is towards the shoulder of the road. So if you can't remember on the hill parking, just turn your wheels towards the shoulder of the road. You're only going to lose a couple of points if you did it wrong. Okay? It's not major. So don't get focused in on that skill and go, oh my God, I can't remember what the hill parking is. Oh, what the God is. Oh, what am I going to do? And you fail the whole test because you froze up. Okay. Just take the couple 3 points and then carry on with your life to be successful on your driver's test. All right. Blue Flower, here in Romania, we have a standard 30-minute test, but it can be dramatically short if the police agent considers the candidate a danger and has to hit the brakes. For example, my test was 8 minutes long. Yes. And going back to what Blue Flower said about 30-minute driver's test, different places, it's going to be different durations. All right. New York City, Dallas, Texas, Tampa, Florida, it's going to be short, 5 to 8 minutes, because they have a lot of tests that they need to get through in a day for driving examiners. Now, Charlie's driving test was 40 minutes, almost 45 minutes from the time that he left the test center until the time he came back, because he went to a small rural town. If you decide, hey, I'm not going to take my driver's test in New York City, I'm going to take it in upstate New York because my aunt lives there, know that instead of a 5 to 8 minute test, you could potentially be facing a 45-minute test because they don't have anything else to do. They only have 5 tests they have to do during the whole day. So it could be a longer test in a rural setting as opposed to in the large metropolitan areas where it's only a 5 to 8 minute test. So figure out at your test center how long your test is going to be and what are the specific skills for that test center. Because do I have to parallel park on the road? Is it parallel parking between cones? Because parallel parking between cones is different than parallel parking between 2 vehicles or behind another vehicle. Know that. Blue Flower, my question is about how can I keep focused in a chaotic situation? Blue Flower, practice breathing, saying to yourself, I can do this. And as the other piece about it, I don't know what your budget is or whether you can afford to hire a driving instructor, but he or she will be able to help you out with that, with staying focused on what you're doing. Mentors, other people, because yes, as you said, there's a lot going on, especially in European cities where you live there in Romania and those types of things. So know that when you're driving, that you need to focus on what you're doing. And sometimes if you get in those larger cities that have big roundabouts and lots of traffic and whatnot, you need to focus on what you're doing. You need to track the vehicle and you need to push through. And again, I'll put up down in the description there the videos on me driving in Spain, and I'll show you how to push through roundabouts to keep yourself safe. Stanley, what is the new law about endangered road users in BC? Stanley, I don't know what that is about. Vulnerable road users might be what they're talking about with cyclists, pedestrians, motorcycle riders, and keeping 3 feet, 1 meter between your vehicle and kids on e-scooters, bicycles, motorcycle riders, pedestrians, those types of things. That might be what you're talking about. Elevator fan, the examiner might bring you out on a freeway if you are near a freeway. Yes, they will, elevator fan, but it has to be extremely close to where the test center is to be successful on your driver's test, and whether for the purposes of their driver's test you are actually going to go out on the interstate or highway. Because as I said, depending on the length of the test at the test center, it has to be really close because it's 5 or 8 minutes out and it's 5 or 8 minutes back, which is now 20 minutes. So that's going to depend on proximity. Cheyenne, how would I go about with a road anxiety? My dad took me out to teach me and I was sweating heavily. I was told that if I look at the side mirrors, it will tell me how close I am to the yellow line. Cheyenne, sounds like you're having some difficulties there. I would suggest that maybe you go and do some work with a driving instructor, especially driving instructors that work with seniors. They tend to help people with anxiety and those types of things. And if you're having difficulty keeping your vehicle centered in the lane when you're driving, I would suggest going to a parking lot, work on backing into a parking space, doing your parallel parking, driving around in circles, figure eights, forward figure eights, and reverse figure eights, because that will teach you where your vehicle is in space and place and where it is in relation to other things on the roadway. As well, Cheyenne, it will teach you mastery of the primary controls, your steering wheel, your accelerator, and your brake, and you need those things to be safe and be successful for your driver's test. And if you're just getting started out, Cheyenne, that's to have some anxiety around driving. That's completely normal, okay? That will become easier, become better as you get more driving experience, all right? So keep going, keep doing what you're doing. You're going to do great. Okay, washer, when merging, what if traffic doesn't let you merge or you just can't at all? Washer, that doesn't happen, okay? You need to signal early, you need to get up to speed, and you need to look at the spaces between the vehicles and pick your spot and aim for that spot. Now, if that does happen and you are in bumper-to-bumper traffic, get up there, match the speed of the traffic on the highway, get your signal on, crowd the left side of your lane. Not out of your lane, but crowd the left side. Somebody will create space for you to be able to merge out onto the highway. Stanley, I'm planning to get my N this August. My dad has taught me to drive and I have never done a lesson. Would it be a good idea to hire an instructor to refine some things before the test? Stanley, absolutely. Driving instructors teach people how to pass a driver's test every day. So yes, I would encourage you to take one lesson with a driving instructor. He or she will give you feedback on your skills and abilities that you need to work on to be successful on your driver's test first time. Because your dad, all the best to him for helping you out and teaching you how to drive. That's really great, but they don't have all the information about the skills and abilities you need to be successful on passing your driver's test. A driving instructor will be able to help you with that and take you on the test route, show you how to do the slow speed maneuvers, and give you pointers and feedback so you can pass your driver's test first time. So I definitely encourage you to do that and invest that time and a little bit of money. All right, we're going to leave it there for today. If you passed your driver's test in the last couple of weeks, congratulations. That's awesome. And if you have a test coming up in the next week or so, good luck on that. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.